Hello everyone, Milton here again, and today I'm going to be watching The Empire Strikes Back for the first time. For those of you who didn't see my first video where I watched the original Star Wars Episode 4 A New Hope for the first time, my name again is Milton, and I haven't seen Star Wars or pretty much any pop culture, American pop culture or any pop culture, because up until recently I was living in a religious community in the northern Upper Peninsula of Michigan called the Sibling Brotherhood that was led by a man named Brother Brad. That ended a little while ago due to Brother Brad's illegal narcotics activities, leaving me pretty much going into regular society for the first time on my own, which I was actually pretty happy about. I eventually wound up living with my third cousin, Daniel, here in the southern part of Michigan. As you can see, we're in Daniel's office here. He's got a lot of pop culture, his comics, books, movies, music. You name it, he's got it. So Daniel had this idea that I should start off my pop culture education with Star Wars, and his sons thought it would be fun if I did a reaction video, they called it, which is what I'm doing here. So yeah, I watched the original Star Wars, and I loved it. I had such a good time. I had such a good time with that movie. If you see it, one of the things that stupefied me was the spaceships. I couldn't figure out how they had filmed or made these giant spaceships. So I talked to my cousin Daniel as soon as I was done watching it, and he let me know that it was models. Models, like things the size of toys. And they filmed them in a way that made them look huge, which I never would have thought of at all. He also mentioned that there is something called CGI, which is like making a really realistic looking cartoon in a computer and putting in the movie, and it looks like a real thing. He said some of the shots in the movie were redone recently with CGI to make them look even better. I don't know which one's which. So yeah, I please, if you haven't seen it, go back and watch my reaction to the first Star Wars, and I'm really looking forward to The Empire Strikes Back. To catch you up on what I've been doing, also just in my life, I can't even tell you, I'm overwhelmed by the positivity, by the love, by the support I got through YouTube with that video. My cousin Daniel was showing me the comments. I mean, a lot of people were really just rooting for me and giving me encouragement, and I can't even tell you what that means to me. That felt so good because, a lot of times I've felt like I'm really alone out here, and now I feel like there's all these people rooting for me. Thank you very much. It's just given me a lot of encouragement to move forward, and I really, really appreciate it. So the other thing I've been doing in the week since I watched Star Wars is I started my online world history class. And so history class going back to the beginning of everything, and I've been doing it every day now. I'm actually getting through it pretty fast because I'm very excited to learn some real history. A couple things I learned this last week that were pretty mind-blowing. The first is, if you remember, the Sibling Brotherhood, our religious group, prayed to, worshipped the Babylonian deity Marduk. I suspected that maybe Babylon and all that stuff that Brother Brad had told us about wasn't real, but it turns out Babylon was real, and they did pray to Marduk. So that was accurate. What wasn't accurate, and what I found out from this class, is that Babylon was not in Ohio. Yeah, I really thought it was within like 5-6 hour drive of here. And I was looking forward to going to see it once this whole COVID thing is over. But apparently, Babylon was not in Ohio. It was in the Middle East, which is a much farther trip from here. So unfortunately, Babylon, the ruins of Babylon is not on my agenda anytime soon. The other thing that I learned is, get this. The Great Pyramids, those huge pyramids out in the desert? They were built by Egyptians. Like ancient Egyptians built the pyramids, right? Boom! I couldn't believe it. Wow, that's not at all what I heard. But enough about me and my life and stuff like that. Let's get into this movie. I get excited when I see this now. Do you guys feel the same way? I like how it's the same thing. Yeah, it's the same thing. So it is kind of like an episode where everyone starts the same, and it's going to give me info like the last one did. It's called The Empire Strikes Back. We're seeing that the rebels are now being chased, and they're now on the ice world of Hoth. I have a feeling it's like we're at the end of the last one. It was like, yeah, good wins and stuff. It seems like they're kind of on their heels at the beginning of this one. Let me tell you, in the original, there was a desert world, which I don't know much about living in a desert. This one, they're on an ice planet. And let me tell you what, there's one thing I know from living in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, surrounded by Lake Superior. I know cold. I know living in snow and ice. So, yeah, a little more closer to home for me on this one.
Betty girl, hey, what's the matter?
Oh, Yeti! Oh, Yeti! Oh. Oh! If you remember the last video, I mentioned that I love Chewbacca because he reminded me of Sasquatch. Sister Helga, who taught the kids, used to tell stories of Yetis, snow Yetis. Definitely not as excited about seeing one of those. Okay, you know one thing I'm noticing here? They're in this, like, snow fortress, this ice fortress. Everyone's freezing wearing snowsuits except Han Solo, because Han's too cool for snowsuits. Oh, there's some stuff going on here for sure. We didn't see it in the last movie, but this entire base that they have, right? They've put in, like, plumbing and electricity and lighting and stuff like that, but they haven't been on any walls. It's like snow underneath them, snow on the sides. It, like, never crossed anyone's mind to build a wall, like an actual wall or a ceiling or a floor. I'm worried here. I noticed there's a real lack of concern for the well-being of the Tauntauns. Oh. Ooh! This is not a nice creature. Is it hanging Luke upside down because he's going to eat him later or something? Like, so, whoa! God, I can't get used to that thing. So you can move things with the Force. Oh, lightsaber! Oh, man! Wow! You come across someone with a lightsaber, there's a good chance that you're walking away down on him. That's one thing I've learned from these movies so far. I'm telling you right now, I know from personal experience, you don't mess around in cold like that, man. It got real cold up where I was at, man. I can even feel it just watching this movie so far. Oh, it's Ben's ghost again. Well, now we can see it. We could hear it in the last movie, but now we're seeing it. Yoda. That's that name that I had heard. He's apparently a Jedi Master. We know the rule. Always listen to Ben's ghost. What's Han doing with the lightsaber? Oh! You know, I've done a lot of things to try to be warm, to try to keep warm in the cold. Sleeping next to the boiler, sneaking in, laying down in Brother Brad's cabin, which is always warmer than the rest of ours. You know, making a fire out of dirty socks. There's lots of things I had done, but never considered sleeping inside of an animal. That was definitely not something that came to mind for me. Who's scruffy looking? Question, what is a nerf and why is hurting one such a demeaning job? Dang! Yeah, feeling good to be Luke right now, right? You know, I really feel, though, guys, you know, I'm rooting for Han. He's my favorite, Han and Chewie. Cool guy in this Sasquatch, and I would have loved to have a friend Sasquatch. I just love that. I cannot say enough about how great this music is. It is so good. Again, even knowing these are models now, these ships are just so cool. See how huge that one was? It's awesome. I would not want to be this guy that Darth Vader's angry at right now. You have failed me for the last time. He doesn't even have to be in the room with you to do the choking thing. He's like at the other side of the ship or something. He's still... I think I'd be hesitant to take that promotion. It just seems to me that if you're a general hanging out with Darth Vader, there's good odds you're going to get choked. Whoa, what are these things? Wow, just when I think I've seen every sort of machine or creature or anything like that, they come up with something new. These are models just like the ships, right? But they're moving in a way, they're like walking. So are they like puppets? Is that how they did it? Like they had like strings that they made them walk? That's my guess for this one. They're models still, of course, again, but they're puppets. Oh, I get it. They're just tying their legs up. Oh my god, that's great. Boom! Down it goes. Yeah! Yeah! Oh, man! You know what this reminds me of? These two guys. My dad is a pretty soft-spoken guy, right? But he was the guy who made sure that the cars and machines on the farm were all running. So he was in there working with his buddy Reggie all the time. And that bit there of like Chewbacca working with Han Solo and stuff, it totally sounds like my dad and Reggie. My dad was very soft-spoken, but man, when they got up and going working on that stuff, it was all about, you know, like, no, you that wrench to that thing there, Even with me in my secluded life, there's things in here that remind me of my life, that make me think of my life, and that's pretty amazing. Come on, come on, move, move. Man. What's Luke? Is that Luke? What is he doing? Oh, is that like a bomb? Yeah, yeah. See, they shouldn't have been flying those, like, snow jets or whatever they call them after everybody. They should have just given Luke a bunch of rope, a bunch of bombs, and just had him run around under each of those things and do that. They would have cleared right through these guys. No problems. Oh, man. I'm telling you right now, whenever Darth Vader shows up on the scene, it just, the tension just goes up. I get so nervous for anyone in there with him. Again, I was just about to say that Han Solo reminds me of my dad. The truth is, I think my dad would have liked to be someone like Han Solo, but Han Solo is always trying to get out, right? He's always running away from being with people. The thing with my dad, and I think both of my parents in general, was that they were the opposite of Han Solo. It was almost like they were too desperate for that connection, too desperate, to be part of that group or family, and I think that's why they wound up where they did. And so it's weird that Han Solo is someone who is the opposite personality-wise of my dad, just still in those scenes where he's working on stuff and getting all mad is making me think of him. I love the scenes where they're like shooting at stormtroopers, or they're fighting with lightsabers, or attacking those walker things. But the space battles, the spaceship stuff, that's the stuff I really love. Oh, just look at that! You guys are probably used to seeing stuff like this, but to me, this idea of these guys going through space and shooting each other and flying around each other and zipping through things, I don't think it's ever going to get old. Ooh! What is going on under that helmet? I'm actually a little scared to see what Darth Vader looks like under that hood. It's not hood, excuse me. Helmet. Who is this little guy? Is he like a puppet? I'm assuming. He looks too small for even like a kid actor or something. So, okay, once again, me trying to guess how they did something. I'm gonna say this little guy's a puppet. Okay, I have a question. I don't really have any experience dating. I guess I'm going to ask you folks out there who have more experience than me. Does this work? This sort of aggressive, in-your-face type of thing where he's like, yeah, you know you like me. I don't think I could do that. One, because honestly, I don't think I could have the confidence to do it. And two, I get the feeling that you have to be as good-looking as Han Solo for it to work. Oh, it's definitely working for him. So this is the Emperor? They've figured out that Luke was Anakin Skywalker? That Anakin Skywalker was his dad. It's the thing about the Emperor is weird in that he looks like this like wrinkly, messed up old man, but at the same time he's scary. He's not someone I'd even. And usually see an old man with like a hood on, you're like, that's nothing to worry about. But this guy is actually intimidating. It may be that he's just more intimidating than the sort of like overlord leader that I'm willing to deal with, because an old man with a hood is way more intimidating than someone like Brother Brad, 280-pound man with a mullet. That's Ben Kenobi's voice. He's talking to Ben Kenobi's voice. He's Yoda. When I heard of the Master Yoda, I thought maybe he could be an alien, but I was thinking like this, sort of like big, imposing type alien, and I like that it's like a little green elf guy. One of the things that's interesting about this that I like is that at the end of the last movie, Luke was like a big hero, right? Around all these other people, the rebel, and he's kind of like leading them in a certain way. Now here he is face to face with Yoda, this Jedi master, like who's what do you say, 900 years? And to him, Luke's nothing. So coming to this place, Luke is like no longer this big hero or anything. He's like a beginner, someone that Yoda can just you know, brush off if he wants. In this cave, there's something out there. Oh my god. Oh, what is that? What is that? Seriously, it's like they're trying to outdo themselves all the time with just how creepy monsters and stuff like that. Oh my god, it's not under them, they're in the creature. They are in the creature. Oh, man. Oh, they were in it. Yeah, Luke's problem is he thinks he knows what he's doing. When someone who does know what they're doing tells them what to do and what they should do, he ignores them. Just, okay, I don't think this is really Darth Vader. I think this is like a dream or something, where, you know, like Luke has to face up to what he's scared of. Well, it's definitely a dream, because you know that, you know, Luke is not lopping off Darth Vader's head halfway through the second movie. Yeah, I don't know anything about movies, I know that much. So what I was talking about earlier about how Luke's not listening and he's just charging ahead, I think this was a warning as to maybe that's what Darth Vader was like, and he's going to end up the same way.
There will be a substantial reward.
Well, this is a motley crew. This reminds me about when we used to hire help from the outside. What would happen is we'd have to hire help from the outside, like these people from outside the community, outside the farm would have to come in. There's always people who looked like every shade of ugly and nasty you could think, like guys don't have all their teeth, just scowling all the time. And it kind of reminds me of that group Darth Vader was just talking to. Though, of course, later on, you know, I learned out that those guys were helping with the drug business, so I guess I shouldn't be surprised. This is what I was saying before. Do not take the promotion. If you work for Darth Vader, don't take the promotion. It's an invitation to get yourself choked at some point. Okay, see these guys like twisting the knobs and pushing the buttons and stuff? Are they getting choked? No, they're not getting choked. Stay the guy who turns the knobs and pushes the buttons. Don't get promoted.
Hello, what have we here? Welcome, I'm Lando.
Now that's the opposite of the way Han seems to be doing it. I think that might work better than the Han Solo approach. I know, they're both way better looking than me, so when I see an attractive woman, someone I, you know, like, whew, I want to go like, hide under something or something, I just get too nervous. But these guys, Han's like, you know you love me, and what was his name, Lando? He's all like, you know, hello. Yeah, talking to women is definitely a skill I have not mastered. Especially when it's someone like a Princess Leia. I mentioned that Elizabeth girl who, in the last video, the one I had such a crush on when I was a teenager. Well, I don't think I ever said more than 3 words to her. She probably had no idea. Way I was definitely not like kissing her hand and, you know, like, hello, Elizabeth.
Even Yoda cannot see.
Yeah, see, I like how in this one it's not just his voice, you're seeing him too. I get it. I mean, I always say listen to Ben's ghost, but I get it, Luke. He can't just like blow off his friends. I totally get that. This whole whole light side, dark side thing makes me think of a moment in my life. I'll talk about it a bit more after the video is over.
There is another.
There is another. Who is the other? Question, how much training did Luke actually do just now? Because it seems like there's maybe like a couple days, maybe a week at the most, and it just seems like a real short period of time to learn anything significant. Is that just me? Am I reading it wrong?
You truly belong here with us among the clouds.
Hi, I'm Milton. I lived in the middle of nowhere up until a year ago. Why don't we take this back to my place? I don't really see that working for me. Man, I got an uneasy feeling the whole time they're at this place. I told you I had an uneasy feeling, man. Now they're face to face with Darth Vader. That is not good. Man, I do not. This is not looking good. Like I said, Han's my favorite, man, and I'm very I mean, I don't know. Is he? They wouldn't kill him at this point, would they? I mean. Whoa.
I love you.
I know.
Wow. Okay. I love you. I know. You know, on paper, that should make him like a jerk. But I swear to you, when he said I know, I swooned a little.
The Force is with you, young Skywalker. You are not a
Oh man, I got like goosebumps. I don't think Luke is ready for this. He thinks he is. He thought lots of things back in Dagobah, and those didn't turn out well. I don't think this is going to turn out well either. When you're doing your best with two hands and the other guy's just beating you with one hand, you are in serious trouble. This is a much more intense fight than the Obi-Wan Darth Vader thing.
Well done.
Oh, good.
The hole in the security.
Okay, I really wanted Lando to be a good guy, so I'm really happy to see this turn. This is good.
It sounds like Han. Let's do it just the same.
At some point, is someone going to correct Lando that it's pronounced Han? And Darth Vader can't really sneak up on anybody with that breathing thing. Oh! Just when it looks like Luke's doing better, man, Darth Vader just starts moving stuff with the Force, and it keeps looking worse and worse. It's kind of surprising that Luke is still hanging in there. I just thought of something. I was going to bring this up at the beginning of the video, but I completely forgot about it. I have a picture of Brother Brad. I'm just going to grab it from the other room. I'll be right back.
Obi-Wan never told you what happened to your father. No, I am your father.
Shoot. Okay, I thought the picture was in the spare room where I've been staying, but it's not there. Maybe for the next video I'll find it, but right now let's get back into things. Looks like the fight's over. I guess I'll have to go back and find out how we got away from Darth Vader, but Leigh is alive, but man, it's not looking good. The Millennium Falcon is like the greatest ship in the world, and at the same time just this junky thing. I love that. I love that. Okay, so yeah. What? What? They were doing the speaking thing like he did with Leia. Vader was, but he said father, and then he said son, and like Luke has no hand. I just realized Luke doesn't have a hand. What the heck did I miss? I was only gone for like 40 seconds. What the heck happened? I thought Luke's father was Anakin Skywalker and Darth Vader killed him. I thought they were just having a lightsaber fight. What the heck happened at the end of that? Whoa! Oh, good, they're out of there. Yes! Yes! If I were that guy, I would just flat out run. I don't care if people think I'm a coward or what. I would just take off running. Because you know what's going to happen. You could even tell he's feeling uncomfortable around the neck. You know what's going to happen. I would just get out of there. Wow. So is this the end? The end of the last one was like, I was like pumping my fist, and this one's really bittersweet. So that was Star Wars Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back. What did I think of it? I really liked it. Even though it was a very different movie compared to the last one. I mean, it said lightsabers and laser blasters and spaceships and stuff, but it felt a little different, especially the end. Like I said, it was kind of bittersweet. In a way, I do kind of like that. I want to talk about one of the things that really struck me, which is when they were talking about the light side of the Force versus the dark side of the Force, where Yoda was talking about how the dark side of the Force is easier, more seductive, and it's based on like fear and anger and hatred and stuff. And that brought me back to after the farm was raided and the people who were going to prison went to prison. Unfortunately, my good friend Jacob was one of those. He's in Jackson, Michigan right now. He's at the prison there. After that was over, even after I was found, not criminally negligent, I found myself in just this small apartment in Escanaba, Michigan. Still Upper Peninsula, just not as far up. It's It's like on the the southern end. And I found myself in like a 1-bedroom apartment there before I got connected to my cousin Daniel and came here. I was in a dark place. I remember that there was a lot of fear, a lot of anger, and I think sometimes things like fear, like loneliness, those things can lead to anger. They can lead to you hating people. Some of the people who were in my same situation from our community wound up in not very good places. They wound up in very dark places. Don't get me wrong, they weren't blowing up planets or anything like that, but just not being very good to themselves. So I made a decision at one point that I was tired of feeling that way, and I made a conscious choice that I wasn't going to be afraid, I wasn't going to be angry, as I had been for most of my life. And there I was at rock bottom, and I made the decision that I'm not going to be this way. There really is a choice. I think sometimes we think life pushes you one way or another, but at a certain point you can make a choice. I made that choice, and right after that's when I got connected with my cousin Daniel. I came down here, I'm starting a new life. Like I said, I'm getting into popular culture, I'm being reintroduced to history and society, and hey, I have a job interview, by the way. I have a job interview to work at a grocery store here locally, which doesn't sound like much of a job, but it sure beats beet farming. I will do anything in a grocery store and be happier than I was farming beets. So next up, I'm going to do episode 6, which is called Return of the Jedi. Please, like I said before, subscribe so you can follow me on this journey. After I'm done with episode 6, I'm either going to keep going with the prequels, they call them, the episodes 1, 2, and 3 about what happened before these movies, or I might take a break. Some people are suggesting Back to the Future, The Terminator, Aliens. Maybe you can give some feedback to me about that. Maybe you have even some other suggestions for me about what I should watch. If you saw the last video, you remember my cousin's 2 sons. One of them suggested Marvel movies to me. The other one suggested something. I didn't know what it was. He said, you should go to Pornhub, because that's a great place for videos. Thankfully, my cousin Daniel caught me before I went there, gave me an idea of what it was, and just tore in to his son for sending me along that path. I'm really glad he did it, because that would have been... The first thing I'm going to do after this, though, after I'm done doing this, I'm going to go back in that movie and see that minute or two I missed, because obviously big stuff happened there, and I was looking for that Brother Brad picture, which I didn't even find, and apparently there was some big reveal of information, or, Darth Vader being Luke's dad, so I gotta go back and check that out. But until then, please make sure that you subscribe. I'll see you around here next time. We'll see what we all think of Return of the Jedi. Thanks.